Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well this Monday morning. Hope you've had a good weekend. Hope you have a good week this week. It's foggy this morning in Brasstown and cool. That cooler weather that folks have been talking about is beginning to get here. So this is one of the cooler mornings that we've had. Not the coolest at all. It was going to get cooler this week, but this is a change from what we've had for the past several days, for the past few weeks, actually. So I've got my jacket on out here this morning. It's really a lot cooler, which makes my heart go out to all those people that don't have not even power, don't have their house or their coats or their clothes. So everybody here is well, though. Everybody's doing well. Granny's she's not been feeling as spry as she had been, but I think the last 3 or 4 days she's feeling a little bit better, so that's good. Everybody else is well and good and just going about the things that they need to do. Babies are good and growing like weeds, both of them. So everything is good here, and I sure hope that it is at your house too. I do want to share more about the storm today, resources that folks, you're so great, all of you sending me stuff. And I would say here at the beginning to any kind of information you have, put it in the chat, put it in the description below, put it, if this is later, not the description, the comments below. If this is afterwards and you're not getting to actually be part of this live, please share all that information that would help both people wanting to donate or help, but also people that are there. A lot of places are beginning to get on their to get electricity back. There's still many people that don't have it. There's still many people that don't have cell signal, that don't have internet, but little by little that's improving in certain areas, and those people, now that they have that, can then take that information and spread it in their community. So please share all that. And I would say again, the main thing that please continue to do is to pray. And there's a lot of you probably live there even now. There's another storm. I think Milton is the name, that's going to affect Florida. The people in Florida are still suffering from Helene, and now they're going to be hit again. Please pray for the state of Florida that they will be okay. Pray for them. My prayer is that God could just make the hurricane dissipate and go away, and that they don't get nothing more than rain. But I pray for their safety, and that the storm is not severe. I wish it would just go away, but continue definitely to pray for all those that have suffering from Helene, from Florida to Georgia, Virginia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina. Someone told me even West Virginia had some damage. Other places probably I may be leaving out. Sorry if I am, but please just pray for all of them. Pray for the people suffering, but pray for all those people that are going to help too. When we think about the linemen, the people working on the roads, the logistics people, the people with the donations, the people traveling far distances for the donations, all those kind of people, please pray for their safety too, because it's a very dangerous situation there. So that's the main things, just prayer. And we can all do that. I know people's finances are not maybe the best today. And then also there's people that have commitments that they can't go help. There's people that maybe are going to go help later that can't help right now. Maybe they, they're physically are unable to help, all those things. But prayer we can all do. It just takes for a minute, and we serve a mighty God that listens to our prayers. Prayer is our greatest weapon for sure. So please pray for them. All these links that I share, I will put in the description below. So if you're watching this at a later, after the live is over, they'll be in that description. But all of you are like us. You're watching all these videos from people, going into these places where they're helping and filming, and there's just tons and tons of them. And you can, a lot of you told me you've watched them, so you can't watch them no more. It's just too sad, too heartbreaking. I understand that too. But I'm going to share just 3 today. I've been sharing each one. This is another one. I mean, I've been sharing some videos every time I talk about it, just ones that really, to me, give an insight into the damage, but also kind of the way the storm has affected people and lots of various things like that. But this one's from Mark Honeycutt again. I'd shared 2 of his, and I don't know who he is. I just stumbled on his videos, and I really liked the ones I shared in the last video I did, I think on Saturday. because he kind of showed the before, like why it was so bad. Part of why it was so bad, it was a terrible storm with dumped lots of moisture, but also they already had flooding. So anyway, this is a different one, and this is from, really spoke to me. It doesn't show as much of the damage. It's just really him interviewing a dear lady in Red Hill, North Carolina. Now, I've never even heard of Red Hill, North Carolina. There's so many little towns and communities and places that I'm not familiar with. But the part I was interested in all of them. But to me, that kind of hit a personal note. Not that I've ever heard of it or ever been there or know nobody there, nothing like that. But it is not too far from Pigeon Roost, which I use a lot. I write Harvey Miller back in the day. He wrote a little newspaper article about the people of Pigeon Roost. And sometimes on the Blind Pig and the Acorn, I go back in time and I share something, say from 1964, from 1957, whatever, somewhere in there, that Harvey Miller was talking about in Pigeon Roost during that time. Sometimes it's stuff that we still face today. Sometimes it's stuff that's society has changed so much we can't even begin to understand the things he was talking about, but always interesting anyway. So this one reminded me, made me think of the folks of Pigeon Roost not being too far away. So let me put that one here in the chat. And it's really heartbreaking too, though. And the dear lady's trying to help people. It's right at the area where she lives, right where her home, her neighbors, all that kind of stuff. This is another one that I've never heard of, this YouTuber, I just stumbled on. And it's talking about, actually talking about the Madison County, Marshall area of North Carolina, Western North Carolina. And I think she gives at the beginning, she talks, and she's in the area affected, so she's talking about it. But in the very beginning, she really talks about the things that, the kind of, I guess, the backstory too. I think it's really interesting to hear that. And then the latter part of the video is actually going with her to actually, do some cleaning up and helping people and stuff like that in her area. So that one's really interesting. I thought her point of view, being right there on the ground, just like the other lady at Red Hill. And then this one, a lot of you had told me about this story, and then one of you sent me the video where they're talking about it. I think I shared the story in one of the videos I did, or maybe y'all just shared it in the comments. But it's about in Virginia, the man and woman that was in their house, never ever been flooded before, didn't think they were going to be in the area, be affected by it. Then it washed their house, away. He got life jackets. Thank goodness they both put life jackets on. They went upstairs, and he tells the whole story, so I won't tell it all. But anyway, they got separated eventually. The house did break in two, and he was thrown out. And but then a wonderful, miracle, heartwarming story that they were both okay and how they were reunited. And y'all had shared that with me. Thank you so much for that. And that's just a video with them telling their story, and just a real short one from a news outlet. So those are the only videos I had to share. Then I'll just start telling you some of the information and sharing those links. One of my friends, local friends, known her forever. Her kids and my kids grew up together. She works for the state of North Carolina here in our area. But she told us yesterday at church that she's going to be going. She would find out today where. She didn't know where, but she'd be gone for 7 to 14 days. And so she works, what she'll be doing, and I hope that she can share more information and I can share it with you. But basically, we all know about food stamps. We all know how that works for people who are in need. But in this situation, it has thrown so many more people into that pool of people that would be in need for their daily food. And so they're going to deploy them out into places so that they can let people sign up. And she told me that there's some of you may already know about this, but a card, SNAP, they call it. And then they could put that card in people's hands so that they, if they still have a home, they could certainly buy groceries and things like that. if they have a place where they could go prepare their food. And even if they don't, I guess they could buy, you think about non-perishable things that you could just eat. But also they would be helping. I mean, there would be money on there if they live in an area where there's a restaurant open, where they could go to the restaurant and just, have a hot meal, have something. So I thought that was wonderful. And she said that was, I don't know what day she'll leave, but she was going to find out where she'd be going today. And then the logistics may determine where she's going. And then, but all those counties in North Carolina that have been affected, someone would be sent there and they would set up that program for anyone who was in need. Like I said, it's so many people that maybe didn't ever need assistance are now going to definitely need assistance till they get their feet back under them and figure out what they need to do. So I thought that was great news, and that would be happening throughout the counties affected North Carolina. And I'm positive, I don't know, but have the information, but I'm positive Tennessee and Georgia and South Carolina and Virginia and Florida are doing things like that too. If you know about that, put it in the comments. But if you live in one of those areas, you could know that that's coming, and that might be a resource for you to sign up and get one of those cards that would then help you provide food for your family. My next thing I was going to share was so many of you have been wonderful to donate. So many people in our area have. Our, local places are still taking up stuff we've donated. We'll continue to do that. But the lists have changed, and you may have different lists. So if you do of items needed, please put that in the comments, because I certainly don't know everything and can't see everything. So some of these lists are people have sent me, but over and over I've seen bee spray and Benadryl, because what has happened with all this destruction, it's also disturbed the bees, and just from personal experience. And this time of the year, bees are angry anyway, because in our area, I mean, just thinking about yellow jackets, because I guess they know impending winter is coming, and they're trying to hurry and do everything they can. And they're already kind of hateful, we would say, got a hateful turn this time of the year, but then multiply that by all the damage. And then you think about people having to wade in there with chainsaws and clearing debris and all that. So several of you have told me that bee spray and Benadryl. This list come from Michael. Michael sent me so much, so thank you so much, and please keep sending it. This was socks, and more socks, and more socks, foot powder, athlete's foot cream. So you think about having to wear the same socks and same shoes, and maybe you're wet there, that's a need. Work boots, flood debris, chews up the soles of boots and tires on equipment, because they're running over and walking over all that debris. This one was from Lana. I hope I'm saying that right. Blankets, sleeping bags, equipment to clean up mud like boots and gloves. So that's those blankets and sleeping bags, people started asking for them at the end of last week, because when we found out this cooler weather that I was talking about that's here in Brasstown is going to arrive, and the areas that were hit are higher elevation than I am, so they're cooler. So while it's whatever it was this morning, I'm positive it was probably 5, or maybe even in some of those areas 10 degrees colder. My wonderful friends, the Holmans, who live more up that way, it might be in the mid 40s here, and I think that's cool. Well, it's already in the low 30s there, so it's just a difference in elevation. So they definitely are going to need those. This was from Susan. She's been through this before, so this was her experience. She said these are the things that were in high demand during Eastern Kentucky 2022 flood. A lot of you probably remember that. I do. It was terrible. Tall rubber boots for mucking out buildings, water hoses, pumps to attach to generators and pump water out of creeks to hose down buildings, plastic bins with lids to store salvageable belongings. It's so sad when you think about it. If they're picking through their wreckage, they don't even have nothing to put it in. Don't even have a Walmart bag like we might use. Batteries of all kinds and propane heaters. So that was advice from Susan, because she had been through this before. This was a list that was shared by my local Tri-County Community College. They're collecting stuff, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute. But they ask for heavy-duty sleeping bags, new blankets, hand and foot warmers, those little packs that you can, you rub them and they get real warm. Cold weather coats. I would think that's for all sizes, all from kids to adults. Warm socks, again, for all. Hats, gloves, and scarves. Face covering and thermal underwear. this was a list that I saw online, or maybe someone sent it to me. It was hydration packs, baby wipes, diapers for children and adults, baby formula, and the kind of baby formula that's already ready. You can get baby formula that's liquid that you have to mix with water. You can get powdered that you have to mix with water, but you can also get baby formula that's just ready to go, whether it pours out the can or the pouch or whatever it's in. It's already ready, already mixed up together like it needs to be. Bug spray. Some of these will be repeats. Sunscreen, plastic utensils, manual can openers, trash bags, non-perishable food, cleaning supplies, toothbrushes and paste, toiletries. I get thinking about soap and shampoo and those kind of things. Pet food for cats and dogs, hand sanitizer, sanitizer wipes, feminine hygiene products, heavy-duty work gloves. And also I saw you need the heavy duty work gloves to do that heavy work. You're lifting those debris, but also like latex gloves, because there's been so much damage, contamination from sewers, from chemicals, from different things. So those are some of the list. If you've got more list, please put them in the chat there, or in the comments if you're watching later. This is just some of the information I was going to share, just to help spread information for people, like I said, maybe wanting to donate, or people that are there that need more information themselves. This would help them. Sandy said that iHeartRadio from Asheville was a good resource. I've not listened to that. I don't know anything about it. I've never listened to one of those, like the iHeart radio channels, but iHeartRadio from Asheville, Sandy said. Thank you, Sandy. Joella said, extreme damage in Northeast Tennessee. Send help to First Christian Church on Main Street, and that's in Mountain City, Tennessee. If any of you have more information about that, you could leave it. Thank you, Joella. Karis told me that North Carolina's Weather Authority is an informative site that you can visit. And I think it's on Facebook. If I'm wrong, many of you probably know about that. If you have it, put the link there. If it's not on, I found a link on Facebook, though, so I could add that one if I found the right thing. I just wasn't sure if that was it, or if there was I didn't see a YouTube channel. But there may be like an individual website. Let me find let's see. Whoops. I didn't mean to click it. It's trying to open it up for me. Let me go back to try again. Okay. No, I'm getting the wrong one. I better do it again. Okay. I think this is it. But again, there may be a YouTube channel or a website. If there is, you could definitely add that for me. Ron Bass, longtime supporter of mine, and I appreciate Ron so much. He says in Black Mountain, the Craigmont Assembly is collecting donations, and they've kind of just discontinued what they usually do so they can focus on helping people. Carolina Relief, that's the name of I think it's a restoration, like home restoration place in Hickory. David told me this. They are collecting donations. Minky, I think that's how you say your name. I apologize if it's not. Said Joe Gibbs Racing in Huntersville. I think it was Huntersville, but Joe Gibbs Racing. You could just Google that they are taking supplies. And I've also seen that they have donated like the use of their helicopters, and people are using those. Rick said Wings of Compassion. You can check those out. And then here's another link that Michael sent me, that it will be good for people that are the very people that are going through these horrors. This is like a counseling. This is East Tennessee, but I'm sure that they could put you in touch with somebody in North Carolina, or that they would even aid people in other places. I don't know that, but I would just think that they would be. But they're going to offer like pro bono or reduced rates for anybody that just needs somebody to talk to. So that's a great resource. Thank you, Michael, for that. This other stuff is from also from Michael, and it's about the donations being shifted to Bristol Motor Speedway applies to Carter County points of distribution. At this time, Elizabethton City will continue to receive small-scale donations at 300 West Mill Street. All large-scale donations, tractor-trailers, should go to the Regional Distribution Center at Bristol Motor Speedway. So I can share that information in the chat there. It's going to be one of those weird ones that it's not going to let me. So just wouldn't do it. I don't know why, what it didn't like about that, but something. So I can't add that one. But you heard me. So that was that. And I will add it in the description below, though. And then there's also the City of Elizabethton Parks and Recreation, that 300 West Mill Street, will be open again as the official donation center from 11 to 6. This is a time change from previous days, so 11 to 6. Drive-through supply, pickup. You can get bottled water, food, and other supplies are available if you need it. Donation drop-off. They've got some suggestions, too. I'll read those. Peanut butter and jelly, canned meats and vegetables, dog and cat food, cleaning supplies, shovels, buckets, rakes, mops, baby food items, puff snacks, pacifiers, baby blankets, diaper rash ointment, etc., kids' toothbrushes. You know, just so much we just can't even imagine. Like the pacifier, I think about how many times we lose Ira or Woodrow's pacifier. Well, they've lost theirs permanently. Something I hadn't even thought about. And then at that same place there in Elizabethton, it says volunteers needed. Helping hands are needed anytime from 11 to 6 to unload donations, sort and distribute items, and load up supplies. And then there's a bunch of links there for that area. I'm going to try to leave them. We'll see if it'll let me or not. We'll see. Nope, it won't. So I don't know what that is, if that's some kind of YouTube don't allow those type of links or what it is, but I will put that in the description below. But basically, let me go back. Let me get rid of this so I don't mess myself up again. Take me just a minute. A lot of those kind of public places have Facebook pages, so you could go there to get all that information, get that kind of information that you need about what to, where help is available, or where to help, or where to drop off donations, or any of those kind of things. Each little area has those, and so you could go there. Now, if you don't have cell signal and you don't have internet service, that's not going to do you a lick of good, I know. But if you have it, maybe you could look at, check out the information that people need and then share it with those in your area that do not have it. I know that so many organizations are working to put Starlink consoles in the hands of people so that they could use that to have access to information. One of those videos I shared, she talks about how that was one of the things that was really good for her and her family, where they were ham operators and they could get online on the radio and kind of find out what was going on because they were so isolated. And then that everybody in their neighborhood just come around and kind of listened. Reminded me of, you hear stories, which is not in bad times. Well, in bad times during the war, like World War II, people would gather around the radio, but made me think of when the first people that got TV in your area, people would come to your house and look in the windows and stuff. Let's see. So it ain't gonna let me share none of those. I will share those in the description below. This was, let's see if it'll let me do this little short one. This was my friend Dawn Cassida told me about this, where it let me share that one so that you can go and check power outages. More people are getting their power back, but there's still tons of people that don't have their power, but you can check there. Is a good, maybe if you have someone in a certain area and you've not heard from them, you could check and see. This was my friend Sally, dear friend Sally. She shared this with me. She's in, let's see, this link is for Tennessee, but I think it would work for anybody, any other places, because you could just, I'm sure that folks in Tennessee are also donating to other organizations outside of Tennessee. So this is like a place you can go and get more information about how to know if the charity or the organization that you want to donate to might be a scammer or not. Because there's some of that going on. So you have to be careful. So thank you, Sally, dear friend, for sharing that. So here was some of the, I'm down to the donations. Some of these are in my area. I had shared before that the police station in Murphy was accepting donations. They did that, but then they partnered with Tri-County Community College, which has, I'm sure it's easier to get in and out of their parking lot and all that kind of stuff. Also, Tri-County has a trucker program where they teach people to drive 18-wheelers. So they have 18-wheelers there, trailers, access so that they can just load them up and then take them. So now the police station is telling people in my area to go to Tri-County Community College instead. And here's the, you can, I put open for donations there. They're open 1 to 6, and then that's their website so that you can go and find out where they're at and all that kind of stuff. I used to manage that website, but it's been years now since I did that. So a long time ago. Here is and I'm not sure it'll let me share this in the chat since it didn't let me share those others. Here was that master list. Nope, it won't let me. It's like a master Google list. I will put it in the description below, but it is an awesome resource. And I think Woodshop Pros sent me this one. And it has, it's for North Carolina, but it has each county, and you click on the county, it will tell you resources as far as where you could donate. But if you're somebody that is in need, it will also give you that information. So I will put that in the description below after this video is finished, after this live is finished. It's probably not going to let me tell these, so I'm just going to tell them to you, and then I'll put them in there. Haywood County Emergency Services Facebook page. That is, if you're in that area, is a great place. They're just continually updating and telling more information. And again, I'm sure every county has a Facebook page. If you have the ability to access it, you may not. But if you do, maybe you could share with people in your area. Haywood County Resources. This was another kind of aggregated part that would show you all the different options for people in Haywood County, from government assistance to local assistance. It's the Orchard, North Carolina. So theorchardnc.com, but I will put that in the description below. There is let's just try and see if it'll let me do this one. May not. Operating pharmacies. It let me do that one. That's all the operating pharmacies. Of course, there's people that need to know where they could get their medicines. People take medicine that they have to have. I know Granny does, that she needs, or if without it, she would, be in trouble. So there's that. You could share with people. This was I'm not sure it will let me share this one either, but let's try. All these people that have lost their homes and lost their livelihood, they're going to need unemployment. It did let me share that one. Thank you for that. So that's a place where you can find out more about that. Talking about those Starlink consoles being passed out to people. This is if you get one. Now, if you don't have internet, I don't know how you would do this, but again, maybe someone could download it and then share it with people. But this is the instructions on how you would set up your little console. So if you're in an area that they're handing those out, I'm sure they're probably giving you information though, and that's good. Here is some of the, let's see if it'll let me do all these. I'm not sure if it will or not. Nope, it won't. I wonder if it'd let me do them one at a time. Let me go back and try that. When it comes to actually donating, everybody has to make up their own mind if they're able to. I understand there's lots of people that are in a situation they can't, but you can pray. That would be my main suggestion for before even, they need donations, but we need prayer simultaneously. And I don't want to I don't want to be like, well, if you can't donate, then you can just pray. No, prayer is our greatest weapon. Prayer is important, just as important as the donations. The donations are important if you're able to do it though. But here are some of the, again, there's this, like my friend Sally shared with me, there's the scam aspect. Nobody wants to donate to something that's stealing their money. And then you have to find, if you're going to donate, something that speaks to your heart, something you feel comfortable with, all those different things. So that's personal for everybody. Whether some people may be like, I'm only going to feel comfortable if I take my supplies to Tri-County, to wherever, to the church, and donate to them. That's fine. That's still donating. That's great. Other people want to be able, they're far away. They want to be able to do it online in a monetary way. So these are some of the ones that I feel comfortable about, but you may not. So you just have to make up your mind. Okay, so it let me do that one. That's the Cajun Navy Relief. I said I never even heard of them until this, but wonderful people helping. This is Samaritan's Purse. I knew about them from a long time ago. Our church donated to them yesterday as a church. This is Mercy Chefs, another one I didn't know about till you all told me about them, feeding people in need. Grindstone Ministries, they are on the ground in these places helping with the chainsaws and the equipment and everything like that. North Carolina Baptist, they are also on the ground. Those others are too. I don't mean to say that they weren't. All these I'm saying are actually on the ground in East Tennessee and North Carolina and probably in other places. 8 Days of Hope, a lot of you have told me about those, and so I'm going to put that. And then one of the ones we mentioned from the beginning was Ryan Hall, y'all. A lot of you watch him too. And he's one of the ones that have worked really with the communications and getting those there. So there's, and I'll put those in the description below. You can go all those websites and then investigate and see. Like I said, everybody has to do what they feel led to do on those type of things. Okay, let me look down through here and see if I think that was all of my storm stuff I wanted to say. I will say that will continue to share stuff as I get it. So please send me the stuff that y'all can. I appreciate Michael sending me so much. I've said it over and over, but it bears repeating, is that this is not something that's just going to be in a month. They'll all be back to normal. It's not even going to be in 6 months. It's going to be years. And there will be no real normal like what it was. It'll be a different, it'll have to be a different normal. But please pray for the people that are so desperately in need. And again, pray for Florida that this storm would just go away. I always just imagine, I say, God, couldn't you just make it disappear? Couldn't you just make it disappear? So we just have to pray. We don't understand everything. So I'm going to read a few of your wisdom because I still think it's important for us to think about that. Of course, some of the things y'all are sharing now specifically relates to the storm. This was someone on my blog, actually, Juanita, that comments on my blog, and she shared this. She said, I'm sharing a reading. Maybe you've seen it. I had not seen it, but this is from Dennis Despain. And so I don't know where she found this, but it said, Life in the holler when the sparrow falls. I take up the pen to write. I have a few stories written and several started, but the night is heavy. I find it very difficult to tell stories about enjoying the mundane of life when so many of my fellow men are hurting. My heart is sick. My prayers are My heart is sick. My prayers are worn bare from laborious use, and my fervor far spent. But I can't crease my human cry and bewildering grief. What words can I say to the soul who has lost their home? The ground their home set on is gone. Their family is gone. They have no clothes, no food, and no money. Only despair. I can't write of sun-kissed meadows and watching squirrels gather nuts. What words do I say to ease their pain and find comfort in the dark? I want to tell them he knows when the sparrow falls, and there is hope and strength in him, but the hungry, cold, and grieving heart is numb and can't hear my pleading and words of compassion. What can I do? I am old. Life has taken my strength. My pockets are empty because of the decline of our society. We live in a fallen world, but I can mourn with those who are mourning. I can pray and pray and pray again, knock and seek, that there will be a time when once again there will be found joy in the dawning, and there will be a night of untroubled sleep. Our Father spared not his only begotten Son from pain and suffering. Jesus said, drink of my cup, and he was a man of sorrows. But he also said, there is a day coming when I will wipe away your tears. There will be no more sorrow and no suffering. For now I know he holds the fallen sparrow in his hands, and he will not heal its broken wing. And one day, and I'm sorry, and he will heal its broken wing, and one day it will wing on high once again in the holler, Lame Turtle by Dennis Despain. Now that's beautiful. My reading was terrible. I apologize for that, but it was beautiful. That's beautiful, and that we understand those people suffering. They can't, you can't even, you're just numb when you've lost all that. You can't even begin to ponder hope. So please just pray for them. Pray for them. And thank you, Dennis, whoever you are, for writing that. And thank you, Juanita, for sharing it. Sue Boggs said this was a piece of wisdom that she shared. When the sun comes out and the wind dies down, I pray you will see God's grace all around you. I have a few comments to share with you. The first is a simple reminder of God's mercy. God is working. God is faithful. Hold on. And when near someone chewing loudly and eating with their mouth open, the second is he sounded like a pig eating bricks. So that's a little bit of levity there to make you smile. We've all been around people eating with their mouths open, and I might have even been guilty of that myself. Jeff Webb said, words of wisdom. My mom always said, before you judge someone, get behind a bush and watch your own self go by. That's good advice for all of us, for sure. Okay, I've got a few more of the wisdoms. Let me find them. This was from Melinda. We're in East Tennessee, safe from all the horrible damage around us. Our pastor commented yesterday that what God allows, he redeems. It's a good thought to ponder when things get tough. Thank you, Melinda, for that. This is from Tina. Prayers for all the flood victims. Here's a quote my dad used to say when he would look in a bedroom. Looks worse than the weak would look. I don't know. I'm not sure what she meant about the bedroom, but looks worse than the wreck of the Hesperus. Prayers to you all. So when something was really bad, I guess he would say looks worse than the wreck of the Hesperus, probably in kind of a comedic way, but definitely the storm is looking like that. This was from Jan. She says, I'm praying for everyone in this devastating storm. God hears our prayers and tears. My wisdom, my mom used to say to us, if your left ear is ringing, someone is talking bad about you, pray for them. Right ear ringing is someone talking nice about you, pray for them. In other words, always pray. In other words, always pray. There was 4 children in my family. There's only 2 of us left now. My sister, she's talking about that her family just needs prayer, that she would love to be close to her sister again. So please pray for Janet there. But also her mother was right. Whatever those old sayings are, we were talking about if your ear itches, if your nose itches, if this, that's good. Just pray for all those. Sandra says, an older lady at my church told us busy working moms some things I have found so true through the years. If the devil can't make you bad, he makes you busy. When we get too busy, we don't look around us and see what the needs and see what God wants us to do. Lady Elaine said, Tipper, wondering if you ever heard that if you're washing dishes and your belly gets wet, you'll marry a drunk. LOL. My mama would always say that. I have heard that one. That's a funny one. Penny said, I've recently seen Russ Taff say during the in-between times that you don't know what to do, praise the Lord. Song from the Imperials, Russ Taff, praise the Lord. It has brought me comfort, so I wanted to share it. Thank you, Penny, for that. This was Goose Ankle. This was not really wisdom. It is wisdom, but it was specifically to me, but I would share it with you, is that please keep doing what you're doing. This was about my complainers that didn't want me to talk about the storm and then didn't want me to talk about just my everyday life. I appreciate your YouTube channel. As one person told me about such complainers, they just need a good ignoring. Definitely, sometimes that would do us all good to give people a good ignoring, that instead of letting them bother us to the point that we worry, especially people we don't even know, bother us to the point that we worry about it. Terry Burton shared this: the mountain storm has passed, and I, like the land, have not been left unchanged in its passing. And that was from Bob Kazragis. I may be saying that wrong. Kazragis. Thank you, Terry, for sharing that. Debbie said, in our family, we have a saying, we don't know what the day may hold, but we know who holds the day. I've heard it all my life, and maybe it started from that song. I know who holds tomorrow was the song that I was talking about when she said that. So we don't know what the day may hold, but we know who holds the day. That's from Debbie. Robert Ritchie said, and I didn't find this link, but all of you could go and find it yourself. Well, maybe I can find it. Let's just see. Let's see if I can find it real quick and add it. I wonder if it says it's from Robert Ritchie. Have you seen on YouTube the North Carolina State and Wake Forest bands playing Amazing Grace dedicated to the people of Western North Carolina? I wonder if this is it, but I don't know. I don't know if this is the right one or not. I should have. And let me look in the description down here. Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, because it says that. So let me come back to you and put it. So this was Amazing Grace is a song that means a lot to a lot of people. So Robert says, if that's the right one, if it's not, I apologize. It says North Carolina State and Wake Forest bands playing Amazing Grace, dedicated to the people of Western North Carolina. Very moving. Thank you for sharing that one. And that was all of the wisdom. And please continue to leave that, and I'll continue to share it. I think that's really important. I'm going to share one more thing, and then we'll sign off for this week. Let's see if I can find it. And it goes right along with Robert's Amazing Grace there. Our church sung Amazing Grace yesterday. We sing it often, though, but it's always, I don't think I've ever sung it or heard it that it didn't move me. Last week I've been talking about music every time, and last week now I'm not going to be able to find what I need. Last week we talked about, here it is. Last week we talked about hymns, and I continue to be listening to them. That was the comment that I read, was talking about tomorrow, was I had reshared. I shared it a long time ago, but a video of Pap singing, I Know Who Holds Tomorrow. And that's, got me to thinking more. Of course, when I listen to hymns, a lot of times that's what I do. I listen to Pap and Paul. There's other beautiful people singing hymns, and those, like the marching band, there's all kinds of things like that you can find that's very moving and powerful. But when I shared that song on the Blind Pig and the Acorn Sunday, Pap singing it, I was reminded that on our YouTube channel, Blind Pig and the Acorn, we have there's 5 hymns that was included on the last CD that Paul did in honor of, it's 5 hymns, and then the rest of it is all Pap's original songs. Live to Never Die. But I was reminded of that, and I thought, well, all those 5 songs are on our YouTube channel where Paul shared them. Now it's Paul's put pictures and sunrises and different things because, of course, Pap sung them. Paul was recording him when he sung them, so we didn't video it. It was like in Paul's little recording studio. Anyway, I went and made a playlist of those 5, and a lot of them are the old songs and hymns, and they really meant a lot to me over my entire lifetime. But I've, in times of trouble, when you're worried about loved ones and friends, or you're having trouble in your own life, those are the songs that really speak to my heart. So I shared that playlist there. You could maybe listen to that for some encouragement if you're interested, or like I said, there's so many other people doing beautiful versions of old hymns from the band that Robert shared to all the others. So be sure to leave those in the chat too. I thank all of you for, of course, always for helping me and my family do what we do. But I really thank all of you who've helped the people that are suffering from Helene, from Florida to Virginia and beyond, all the people in between. And I just really thank you. I can't thank you enough for that. I'm really grateful. And I don't know all those people, of course, in those areas. The ones I do know in Western North Carolina, they are eternally grateful. I mean, they are so grateful for people trying to help them and their families, and I know all those other people are too. I really appreciate you, and I love you all. Bye bye.